welcome to the Gaia update. I'm Adrienne Elise. We have a new moon coming up early Tuesday morning, January 20th. There is a new moon where the sun and the moon stationed together at 0 degrees Aquarius. So 0 degrees Aquarius is very significant for this new moon in Aquarius as we leap off into the Aquarian age. And we're really feeling this apex point of this astrology that's been happening over the last few years, as we come into the nodes, the moon's nodes being activated by this Pluto-Uranus square. And that is because Pluto right now is activating the nodes. And our eclipse cycle that's happening later in the spring is also going to be activating the nodes, really bringing forward this energy of the past and the future. And indeed, here we are at 0 degrees Aries, new moon, ready to leap off into the new, but not quite sure exactly where we're going. We know the old isn't working anymore, but how exactly do we move forward? Now, the 0 is in the tarot deck is the Fool. And so if we can just tap into the energy of the Fool. Now, the Fool is carrying a small knapsack of only the essentials of what he needs. So he's not carrying much with him as baggage as he moves into the future. And he's walking to the edge. And he's walking to the edge, heading just to the edge of the cliff, to the unknown, with a smile on his face and with an animal companion and a happy-go-lucky attitude. So the Fool is associated also with the sign of Aries, which is where Uranus is. And so this is a huge part of this activation. And the Aries-Libra, the nodes are on the Aries-Libra axis. So the Aries-Libra axis is about relationships and our individual identity and reality. And so indeed, it is our relationships that bring us the deepest lessons that we have in life. And so a lot of this, what's going on right now, even the simplest relationships with someone that you may run into when you're out into the world and just meet for a moment, that person could have a profound healing effect on you, as well as somebody, or it could be somebody or both. All the relationships right now on all levels are bringing us these lessons. So even if it's someone you've been working with for quite a while, there's this opportunity to release what's no longer serving us. So that Pluto-Uranus square, we're sandwiched here between the 6th and the 7th and the last exact of this Pluto-Uranus square. So that dissolution, breakdown, Pluto of the structures, and Capricorn, our sign of structures and authority, and then that Uranus and Aries, the revolution and the identity of who we are. So how do we know how to move forward into this age? How do we become the Fool who's willing to jump off the cliff? Well, first of all, the Fool doesn't have much with him. He has only his essential self in his knapsack, and that's this Pluto-Uranus square, really, especially with relationships, breaking down, shaking up, dissolving. We need to allow our lives to shift and change, to adjust our new identity in the individual and the collective. And so that's really where we are. The Fool is here straddling the old and the new. The old pain that has come to us through relationships and now again is coming to us in very powerful karmic situations everywhere we look. And then that kind of mystery of the new and being willing to jump off into something that we have know anything about. So this moon cycle this next month is really about what is it, how do we define ourselves in this Aquarian age, and what does it really mean? Mercury the messenger is taking this retrograde experience through Aquarius, and that happens on January 22nd, 122, and it goes until February 12th, 212. So we're having all of these ones and twos, this activation of this energy of becoming one within ourselves, of balancing the opposing polarity and coming into oneness. And this is highlighted by the Venus and Mars conjunctions, 3 of them this year, bringing us helping to bring us out of the duality consciousness, which defines the painful past. So as the Fool moves closer to the edge and closer to the smile and closer to the happy-go-lucky, the still point of being connected to all that is and the trust that comes from that, he realizes that he cannot move forward with the heavy burdens of the past. Now, the past age, the collective of the Pisces energy of the collective consciousness really worked against us with the domination and control of the structures of society, keeping us in conformity, keeping us in a hidden place of shame around the truth of who we really are. So when we talk about healing relationship pain of the past, we're also talking about sexual pain and distortion in the collective and the individual. This moon cycle is a great time to release, come to true knowledge, and transform the pain of the past. This is because there's a powerful energy going on at this shift, at the place where Aquarius and Pisces meet. First of all, we've just had Mars move into Pisces. Now, and then it will be over this next month, Venus will follow the Sun, and then Mercury will also follow this path. So this next month, all of these planets leave Aquarius, and just as they leave Aquarius, they square and move into Pisces. They are squaring Saturn at the very beginning of Sagittarius. So Saturn has been in the painful place of looking into the past, into the depths, into the subconscious, clearing out the shadow. And now Saturn is in Sagittarius. It's our work, duty, it's taskmaster. It wants to move forward. And now it has its eyes up in the stars in Sagittarius. So that's a big shift. And so we've got all these planets first squaring up with Sagittarius, with Saturn in Sagittarius, asking us about how we move into this new view of who we are, of the new work of our next era of time. And then move into Pisces, where they all conjunct come up, right up with Neptune at home in Pisces, and then Chiron in Pisces. Chiron is the wounded healer, and right there with Chiron, during this new moon and through the end of the year, or through the end of this month, is this asteroid Psyche. Now, Psyche is called one of the love asteroids, but what it represents is a deep soulmate connection. But often those deep soulmate connections are the wounds, the point of disturbance that we can't quite ever heal. Now, those points within us are very defining. So it's kind of like, when time goes on, looking back at those relationships that were really painful and recognizing how powerful they were in helping you define who you really are, understand who you are, and get clarity of what you really want. But that's what Psyche represents, is that deep soulmate connection. So these are the energies that are coming up to be released. And Psyche also, since Mars is the planet first, Mars has no retrograde cycle, so Mars is just crashing into Pisces and feeling this watery emotional place where it's like a mountain of emotions. And Mars is trying to bring that action, that forward motion into this emotional, collective, subconscious place. And so we're being forced to face these emotions. Anything that we have not wanted to look at, have been kind of pushing under the rug, the elephant in the room. The energy of Mars in Pisces is there's no way around it. You can't go over it or around it or under it. You've got to go through it. You've got to be where you're at. You've got to face the shadow, these emotions that have come up from our shadow searching, and release them and let them go, move through them, so that you don't have to take them with you. That's the Fool. The Fool is willing to accept, however strange and painful things are in your life, that they're the next thing to get you to where you really want to go, and to love and trust and celebrate the divine, the divinity. This is why the Fool has that smile on his face. This is the reevaluation and recapitulation of the human psyche of that Uranus and Aries, the revolution of the self. Is that everything, we are a part of everything, therefore everything is divine, and we are divine, and we have access to the same energy that makes and creates worlds and planets and galaxies in our own life. And so therefore, when you take that Sagittarius view of things, we've got Leo, or the powerful planet of Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius and Leo, in the expression of this wider view of things. And from that wider view of the Fool, he sees it all as perfect. He comes to the stillness, the one point, the wholeness within, and he's willing to leap off that cliff because he trusts in the divine nature of everything. So just tap into the energy of the Fool. Tap into the energy of the Fool that's approaching the edge of the cliff with a smile on his face. The unknown lies ahead. And feel that the baggage of the belief systems and the programming of limitation and shame that you have been carrying for the collective, for your ancestry, is no longer needed where you're going. If that comes with you, it's like a heavy rock that's going to plunge you to the depths as you leap off the cliff. And so that needs to be left behind. And this beautiful energy of these planets coming in to examine and release the pain of the past, of Chiron, the wounded healer, Psyche, the deep pain of relationships and sexual distortion and pain. Now, the problem, we were told in the Piscean age that we were bad people, that who we were was something bad and distorted, that we were sexual, and that in itself was bad. But the distortion and the sexual disruption and the disease of this pain of sexual trauma is actually because we've been hiding their true self. It's because we've been hiding and denying our true self. And who is our true self? Our true self is the innocent child. Our true self is humanity as in its true innocence, in its true divine light. And so when you are willing to step into that energy of innocence, and that is how we release the pain and trauma of the past. And so just imagine that this Fool is walking to the edge. And as it comes to the edge, it becomes lighter and lighter, releasing all this. So just taking off the Fool, let the Fool just become completely naked, releasing all restraints of the ego, the definitions of the past, and feel the cloaks, the heaviness, the clothes that don't fit, just falling away, releasing until that Fool, the smile comes to the face as that Fool is in complete and utter trust. And the last piece of clothing is removed from the original sin and the distortion that we had something to hide. So take off that fig leaf, the very last piece of distortion, of false belief systems, that we're somehow, there's something to hide and be shameful about as humans. And feel the release of that as you step into the innocence. We are all children of creation. Therefore, we are made of divinity, and we can transform and release the painful identity of our past, the painful distortion, a bad movie. Just take all of that off and let that fig leaf just release, burn, evaporate, throw it aside, and feel yourself move into innocence, and feel this beautiful wave of innocence washing over you and all of the children of the whole planet of creation, all of the children just being bathed in innocence, and feel in that childhood innocence, in that purity, that vibrational field cannot allow distortion, pain, trauma in. And feel this beautiful innocence just washing over you, your whole family line, and the whole world, all of the children that are ready to feel themselves held in innocence. And feel the smile of the Fool as you move forward, lightened of your load. Your inner child activated as you come to the edge of the cliff. Feeling completely at 0 point. Trusting in the divinity of the unknown, taking only what is essential forward. And imagine yourself leaping off of that cliff. Suspended, floating, held in the complete trust of the universe. So this Mars and Pisces and all these planets moving over this Aquarius, Pisces cusp are moving us into a place of surrender to our process. What if we knew at all times on some level that our process was absolutely perfect and divine? You know, we smile at it and laugh and have fun like the Fool. The Fool trusts in the divine nature of all things, trusts that then he is moving towards a better future. Feel yourself coming into vibrational frequency and resonance with that ultimate future. Feel that energy, the energy of creation. The children that we are creative products of the Father and the Mother of divinity. And we are here expressing. We're not here to be in shame and to hide who we really are. The Aquarian age is about letting your freak flag fly. It's about dropping your clothes of who you thought you were and being willing to stand in your true authority. The Piscean age and the pain of the past has a lot to do with the collective consciousness, the conformity of being punished or having to somehow earn our right to feel good, to have pleasure, to receive what we need in life. And so that came with hiding who we really were. The Aquarian age is exactly the opposite, that it's time to stand up in our own spiritual authority. When we know that we are part of creative divine nature, then we know that it's our right, and we have the knowledge and the ability to tap into that creative energy in our lives and create the world we want, first in our individual revolution, and then as we stand up together in the collective whole, in the truth of the Fool, that we can trust in the divine nature of all things, and we can hold that vision and the feeling of excitement of creating a whole new world. And the way we do that is to feel that suspended nature, feel that connection with the whole, bring into your life more and more each day what makes you feel really good. That's your expression of the divine. That's what you're here to do. That's how you take the planet back. That's how you come into your own authority, is to activate your creative potential by making a little bit more room every day in your life for what really feeds you, for what makes you feel alive, tapped in, tuned in to who you really are. And so feel yourself and your whole being as that Fool, suspended in trust and faith, guided easily in the direction of his desire. He's taking one big leap into his future by being willing to resonate at the truth of who he really is and to trust in the divine nature of all things. So I wish you the best and a most beautifully creative, inspired time. This Mercury retrograde cycle is perfect for reevaluating and getting more in tune and getting more clarity about how you really want to move forward. And then come the new moon at the end of the next new moon cycle that happens on February 18th and February 19th, we move into the Chinese New Year, the year of the sheep, where we can mobilize the collective into this new age. That is a good time to then launch new ideas and take those steps, take those leaps into the new. And so enjoy this time of quiet, inner depths. Let the emotions flow. Feel yourself, instead of resisting the emotional eddy, that vortex, let yourself just fully commit to the process of how you feel right now and be like, oh, I'm going to take this and fully commit and feel so strongly this way. That's stepping the Fool, leaping off the edge into the cliff of the vortex of energy that can not suck him in to the depths, but shoot him out the other side into that new perspective, into that Saturn and Sagittarius. There is hope for this world. And that comes from me activating my hope, my trust, my love of the experiences that are bringing me closer every day to the ultimate life, to the new earth experience of the Fool in connection, trusting, floating, following the signs, smile on his face. Animal companion, reminding him of his innate divine wisdom to live the truth of who he really is, uncompromisingly. Trusting in his own self rather than the definition of those around him. Coming into his true authority. So just feel yourself floating in the Fool and allow yourself to be in that place as long as it's comfortable, suspended and held, resonating into the frequency of your future potential, of your most ultimate life. And I hope you have a wonderful journey. Thank you so much for joining me for the Gaia update. I'm Adrienne Elise, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.